Live. So, starting the Two Southern Sports Podcast. This is the soft launch video. We're doing the March Madness bracket reveal. They're starting with the East region and the overall number one seed. That is Duke facing Siena. The 8th seed, Ohio State, will be taking on TCU, the 9 seed. Both of those games will be in Greenville, South Carolina on Thursday. Then St. John's is the 5 seed. They'll be playing in San Diego. So far, those first couple of games are going to be interesting. The 12 seed for that region will be Northern Iowa. So St. John's will be taking on Northern Iowa in San Diego. Kansas, the 4 seed, will be taking on California Baptist in San Diego. That might be an interesting one, being given that there could be some home field advantage there. 6th seed will be Louisville. They'll be in Buffalo. And they'll be taking on South Florida from the American Athletic Conference. That'll be Thursday as well. 3 seed will be Michigan State. Who will they be facing, you ask? They'll be facing North Dakota State. Whose football team is moving up to FBS, and they'll be playing in the Mountain West this year. So, and we play them, JSU plays them week 0 this year, so at the Fargo Dome. So that'll be interesting to kind of see. UCLA is the 7 seed. They'll be in Philadelphia. These next 2 games will be in Philadelphia. They'll be playing UCF out of the Big 12. So the 2 seed in the East region is UConn. Who will they be facing? They'll be facing Furman of the SoCon, the SoCon champs. So that's the Eastern region. Very interesting region so far, I think. Duke's going to come out of that. The 8 to 9 games are always interesting. That 5 versus 12, I think St. John's is going to get that one. 4 versus 13, Kansas, they're a perennial powerhouse. How can you go against them? Louisville, I think they got that one. Michigan State, I think that one's going to be a win for them. UCLA, UCF, that one's going to be kind of an interesting game. That one might be the most interesting game, I think, out of the Eastern region. And I would say that would be a toss-up, but I'm going to go with UCLA for now. Furman, sorry, y'all. But I'm going to have to go with UConn there. I don't like their coach, but but I've got to go with UConn there. That's going to be a very interesting game, but now they're going to... the next region they'll do is coming up here in a second. I want to get y'all's thoughts here, see what y'all think. Comment. I mean, hey, this is the Two Southern Sports Podcast. Well, it looks like they'll be back in a second. And so, take a break with them. And so if you have questions, just drop them in the chat. Drop your predictions in the chat. The East region is going to be I think it's a very straightforward region, honestly. To me, anyways, I think that one's a very straightforward region in those first round games. The second round games might be a little more of a toss-up. But overall, I think those first round games, most of them are going to be very interesting. Now, besides the UCLA UCF game, I think that 8-9 game, Ohio State and TCU, that might be an interesting game. And the funny thing about that one is, and I'm sure y'all know this, but the funny thing about the Ohio State TCU game is that's the 20. So you have the 2022 season college football runner-ups going up against the team that lost to Georgia in the semifinals in football that year, Ohio State. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. That one's, I feel like that one might be the biggest toss-up in the Eastern region. So I want to know y'all's thoughts during the break. All right, we're back, and looks like we're going to start with the southern region now. Looks like Arizona gets the 1 seed in that region. Oh, they're starting with the West region. Those are also in San Diego. Arizona in the West region, the 1 seed there. And they'll be facing LIU. Villanova, the 8th seed in that region, taking on Utah State. Could be an interesting matchup there. Five seed in Portland, Oregon, Wisconsin. They'll be facing High Point. That's an interesting 5-12 matchup because High Point is 30-4. I would not be shocked if they pull that one off. Arkansas, the 4th seed, the SEC champs. They will be taking on Hawaii out of the Big West. That one might be an interesting matchup. BYU, the 6th seed out of the Big 12, also in Portland. We'll be taking on either Texas or NC State. That's going to be one of the first 4 games. One of those first 4 games. I would go with Texas there in that game. NC State has had some runs, but I would lean toward Texas right now. Gonzaga, the 3 seed, also playing in Portland. And they'll be facing Kennesaw State out of Conference USA. Our rivals. Good luck, Kennesaw State. But Gonzaga's got that one, I think. Miami, the U, the 7 seed in St. Louis. And they'll be taking on Missouri. That's going to be a home court advantage for Missouri. So I would not be shocked if Missouri wins that one. I would almost go with Missouri because of that home court advantage. Purdue, the 2 seed, somehow, as Big 10 champs. They kind of slacked off there in the midpoint of the season and made their way back. They'll be taking on Queens University out of the ASUN, which JSU was in for a couple of years before they moved to Conference USA. But I think if NC State beats Texas, they're a team that could make a run. I could see that. Texas could make a run. Arkansas, I think they've got that one. Villanova is usually a really good team, so I'm going with Villanova. Wisconsin versus High Point. I could see High Point that being one of the 5-12s that would be an upset. 5-12. That is usually the spot where we see the common upsets there, and I could see that one being an upset because of the fact that they're 30-4. But I haven't really seen Wisconsin play either, so very interesting matchups in the Western region as well. So I want to hear y'all's thoughts. And I'm looking in the chat and I don't see anybody there just yet. So they're going to commercial break. And we'll take your comments. Arizona, I think they've got that one. Arizona is a phenomenal team. They won the Big 12 last night. Very good team. I would be willing to bet on them. So And while I am sitting here, I know I just did a severe weather um, update just a few minutes ago. So far, I'll go ahead and go through the school closings for you guys while we're doing that, because this does kind of affect sports as well. Albertville, Boaz, Cornerstone Christian Academy, DeKalb County, Dothan City, Fort Payne City, Jackson County, and Scottsboro City all delayed 2 hours tomorrow. And I will try to have those in the chat when I'm doing the severe weather coverage tonight. But we'll try to keep it mostly sports on this side of things. But I did want to mention that. Looks like we are back. Very impressed with Vanderbilt too, by the way. I mean, they are the SEC runners up. Very surprising team. Very good team. So we're looking at Michigan. They are the 1 seed in the Midwest region. Those games will take place their game will take place in Buffalo. They will be playing the winner of the UMBC Howard game. UMBC, if they get in, they're the team that back in 2018, as a 16 seed, beat Virginia as a 1 seed. Georgia, the 8th seed, also in Buffalo, in the Midwest region. They'll be taking on St. Louis. I'm going with Georgia. I'm going Michigan and Georgia so far. Next games are in Tampa, Texas Tech, the 5 seed. Excuse me. They will be taking on Akron out of the MAC champs. I think Texas Tech has that one. Texas Tech has been a pretty good team this year. Alabama, the 4th seed in the Midwest region. They'll be playing in Tampa on Friday. And they'll be playing Hofstra. All right, Tennessee, the 6th seed in Philadelphia in the Midwest region. They'll be taking on either Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio got in. There was some doubt about that, but they went 31-0, lost in the MAC tournament. And I think they deserved to get in because of the fact that, they went undefeated. They ran the table in the regular season. And they'll be playing SMU in that first 4 game. Virginia, the 3 seed in the Midwest region. They'll have Wright State. Virginia's been known to choke. in those first round games. So, but I think they've got that one. 7 seed Kentucky. They'll be playing in St. Louis against Santa Clara. The 2 seed out of the Midwest region. Looks like it'll be Iowa State. Who will they face in the Midwest region? They'll face Tennessee State out of the Ohio Valley. I think they're still in the Ohio Valley Conference. Yeah, maybe, can't tell. I know they were in the they were in the OVC when we were there. So, but if Miami Ohio beats SMU, I could see them potentially upsetting Tennessee. Tennessee has been kind of up and down this year. Alabama, if they beat Hofstra, I think they struggle with Texas Tech. I'm just going to be honest with you. But if, as we saw in the SEC tournament against Ole Miss, they struggled against inferior competition. And you can't go in the tournament and do that. I mean, complacency crept in that SEC tournament. I'm just going to be honest with you. And, you know, as for someone who had Nick Saban in there several times, and, you know, talked to the players and whatnot when Coach Saban was still at Alabama. As a coach, how do you let complacency creep in? I mean, I know you already knew you were going to be in the tournament, in the big dance, but you can't let complacency creep in at any time. If you're going to be a good team, if you're going to be a champion, you cannot let complacency creep in. Plain and simple. And so that's my take on that. But I do think that Miami Ohio SMU game is going to be interesting. I do think excuse me. I do think that Miami Ohio deserved to get in. Hang on. I do think Miami Ohio deserved to get in. I mean, because they ran the table, and they deserve their chance to play. All right, and you know, some people I've seen on some of the different forums on like Instagram, some of the different posts on Instagram and Facebook and things like that, Twitter even, X, whatever you want to call it. I will always call it Twitter. Just saying. But you see, I've been seeing some of the forums on there, and they're just like comments on there, and they're like, Miami Ohio doesn't deserve to be in this, that, and the other. They lost their conference tournament. I don't care if they went 31-0. And I think they're starting to kind of base those opinions, so to say, on what happened in the college football playoff, where Tulane and James Madison got in, and it's like they don't want those mid-majors in. And I just don't get it. I mean, if you're going to run the table in the regular season, you deserve to be in, even if you lose that conference tournament game. That might be the spark that sends this team on a run. Now, will it? I don't know. Probably not. But that is something I would be interested to see. Coleman City Schools just delayed 2 hours. So I just got that notification. Don't see any comments. Hey, y'all leave y'all's comments, man. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. We got one more region, and I bet if Auburn doesn't get in, Bruce Pearl is going to be livid. I'm just saying. I don't think Auburn deserves to be in. They have been very mediocre this year. Florida is the 1 seed out of the Southern region. They'll be playing in Tampa on Friday against either Prairie View A&M or Lehigh. So that's the first 4 game out of that region. Now, the 8th seed, Clemson, out of the ACC. They'll be taking on Iowa. Now, that one could be a good game. That one's a toss-up. Right now, I'm leaning towards Iowa, but Clemson made a run a couple of years ago. Vanderbilt, the 5 seed, the SEC runner-up. They'll be playing in Oklahoma City. Against McNeese State. I'm going Vanderbilt in that one. Four seed Nebraska. Nebraska has had a great season this year. They've been very, very great this year. 26-6, I think it said. Obviously, like like every team in the tournament, they've had a few stumbles along the way, but done really well. They'll be playing the Sunbelt champs Troy in Oklahoma City. And as a JSU alum, Nebraska, whoop Troy. Do it for the JSU Gamecocks. Please. 6th seed, North Carolina. They'll be playing in Greenville, South Carolina. Against VCU. That one could be an interesting matchup. Very dangerous matchup there. Just saying. Three seed will be Illinois out of the Big Ten. And they'll be playing Penn. Illinois. Calling it now. Illinois. The 7 seed will be St. Mary's. And they'll be taking on Texas A&M. That one's a little bit of a toss-up. I know Texas A&M was on the probably on the bubble there for a while, and so that one could be a very sneaky game. 2 seed out of the Southern region, Houston. They will be taking on Idaho. out of the Big Sky. And I'm interested to see if Bruce Pearl is about to be livid. Livid. Going back over those games, that 8-9 game, Clemson, Iowa, that one's going to be very interesting. Like I said, Clemson made a run a couple of years ago. Iowa, they're a very interesting team. I don't know who I'll go with there yet, but right now I'm kind of leaning towards Iowa. Nebraska and Troy. Again, I'm a JSU alumni. And Troy is our biggest rival. So as a JSU alumni, Nebraska, if you do not whoop Troy, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. You have one job for us JSU Gamecocks. Then that bottom half of that region, those games, I think are pretty straightforward, except for that North Carolina VCU game. That one could be very interesting. St. Mary's, I think, has the ability to beat Texas A&M. Houston, they're going to run away with that game. That's going to be a rough game. Now, I'm not saying that Idaho doesn't have a chance. They have a chance. Every team in this tournament has a chance. But, as I said last night, I did this on my weather stream. Let me see. The chances of a perfect March Madness bracket, if you're choosing randomly, are 1 in 9.2 quintillion. Now, if you did if you know a little something about basketball, like I do know a little bit. I know enough to be dangerous. If you know a little bit about basketball, 1 in 120 billion chances of having a perfect bracket. You have better chances of winning the lottery, getting struck by lightning, even getting a Tesla. Not that I would want one, but getting a Tesla. You have a better chance of that. You have a better chance of getting a Ferrari than having a perfect March Madness bracket. Now, I will say this. The closest I've ever come to having a perfect March Madness bracket was back my senior year of high school, back in 2015. And it was perfect. I know enough about basketball to be dangerous, but I did not expect to be that good that year. But it was perfect until the Final Four. And I am forever salty at Kentucky for ruining my perfect bracket. Like, sir, Kentucky, I could have been on the news. I could have had a perfect bracket if you had have done one job back in 2015. If you had just beaten, I believe it was Wisconsin. So Kentucky, I'm probably never picking you to win a championship again, just being honest. Out of saltiness, out of spite, probably. Specifically because of that. Alright, so that is our March Madness bracket. This is a soft launch of the Two Southern Sports podcast. Hopefully next time I will have my buddy John, and we may do this at Jack's pretty much every week, or pretty much every other week. We may try to do this during as much as we can during the tournament. Probably every week during the tournament. And then we'll kind of phase it to every other week So, yeah, may the odds be ever in your favor as we start March Madness. If you're doing a bracket this year, may the odds be ever in your favor. And I will be back later tonight with some severe weather probably. But yeah, man. Hope you guys have fantastic success on your brackets. Good luck filling out those brackets, man. I mean, hey, predicting the future is hard. Just ask a meteorologist. Just ask James Spann. Just ask Wes Wyatt, Jason Simpson. And I'm just naming off some of our local weather guys here. So, hopefully, next time with my buddy John, we'll have some we'll have some more banter and stuff. And I want to hear your comments. I'll post this over on YouTube. I want to hear y'all's comments, and we will use your comments on the stream or on the show. So, hey, leave your predictions in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave your predictions in the chat. Would love to have you guys interact with us, man. I mean, this podcast will not be possible without some of your hot takes, especially as we get closer to football season. One of the goals that I want to do with this is, especially for our Blount County teams, I do want to highlight them during the football season. So probably during football season, we'll kind of try to do every week, even if it's just me. But we'll try to do every week during football season. And as we get into baseball season and UFL, we'll try to do every other week. We'll try to do two weeks worth of predictions on the UFL games in one, and so that will be kind of the goal of this moving forward. And so, hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Wishing you guys great success in your March Madness brackets. And yeah, peace and chicken grease, y'all.